The campy, vampire dramedy True Blood made its debut on HBO in 2008 to considerable acclaim, quickly becoming one of the network's hit shows. However, reflecting on the series 15 years later reveals certain aspects that may have gone unnoticed during the initial viewing, highlighting the evolution of perspectives and societal changes since its premiere. When it first aired, True Blood stood out as a groundbreaking twisted take on supernatural fiction, garnering praise for interweaving metaphorical social commentary with colorful fantasy. Set in the vividly rendered Louisiana setting of Bon Temps, the show centered around telepathic waitress Sookie Stackhouse and her dangerous entanglements with the newly public vampire population. For all 7 seasons of True Blood, the show grew into a hit. However, as the show continued, critical analysis reveals that the once-inspired storylines and commentary grew increasingly nonsensical. The tangible decline in narrative quality over 7 seasons of tangled, unsatisfying plot threads illustrates the difficulty of sustaining innovation over long-running series. In the 15 years since debuting, changing social norms have also amplified elements that now read as problematic. Characters and situations that were once thought to be romantic and charming are now seen through new lenses. While still holding influence as a genre trailblazer, time has exposed some of True Blood's flaws, as well as hidden gems. 10. Jason Stackhouse was the most developed character. Was a fully developed character despite being a caricature. Revisiting the show years later, Jason Stackhouse, a character often utilized for comic relief as Sookie's dim-witted brother, was actually True Blood's most dynamic character. He was introduced as a shallow womanizer, which is the kind of overplayed character that can seem like a caricature rather than a real person. However, Jason grew into a responsible, loyal man who found purpose in becoming a cop. By seriously tackling trauma and grief, Jason gradually shed his one-note persona, demonstrating evolution typically reserved for protagonists. His character arc brought underappreciated depth to a show overloaded with supernatural beings. However, his early personality may have distracted from the character he eventually became. Upon reflection, Jason's earnest characterization amid outlandish scenarios grounded the show in genuine human connection. Taken for granted during the initial run, his substantial growth provided True Blood with its most consistent emotional core. 9. Tara Thornton deserved better. A perpetual victim afforded little redemption. An image of Tara showing her fangs in True Blood. Initially a promising, complex character searching for belonging, Tara suffered ceaseless misfortune and trauma from abuse to becoming a vampire against her will. Despite her strong introduction, Tara was only ever utilized as a perpetual victim during the show's run, denied any redemption or growth. It became a tiresome and sadistic arc for her, which eventually made it so she was not an enjoyable part of the series, at no fault to the character herself. Where others found love and purpose, she endured escalating torment. The refusal to evolve Tara beyond endless suffering now stands out as an exploitative choice at odds with the show's sympathy toward supernatural beings. Upon reflection, her sole narrative function as trauma porn is an uncomfortable realization that underscores how Tara served little purpose beyond absorbing cruelty to spur other stories. It's a little cheesy. Moments that were once exhilarating are now cringy. When it first premiered, True Blood seemed like the perfect show to fit into the collection of acclaimed HBO series that pushed boundaries and told the most daring stories on television. What once seemed tantalizing and sexy now often appears slightly cringy. In its heyday, the show's explicit sensuality and violence resonated with the late 2000s vampire craze, offering an exciting, mature experience. Modern television's advancements, however, have expanded beyond True Blood's pioneering limits. Consequently, once provocative elements, from steamy romances to gruesome kills, now land differently in a post-peak TV era boasting more explicit, artistic interpretations. Stripped of novelty, True Blood's campier aspects emerge on rewatch, revealing low production values, overwritten melodrama, and an unintended embrace of cheesiness. This shift harshly dates the execution, irrespective of the original narrative intent, and makes it harder to take seriously. 7. The finale wasn't that bad. A fitting conclusion despite initial criticism. Characters around a table giving a toast in the True Blood finale. True Blood is a show that dramatically declined over the years, but that shift in quality can sometimes affect the audience's perception of how things ended. While there were many things wrong with True Blood, the series finale wasn't one of them. It was actually a fitting ending that attempted to redeem Bill's problematic arc and free Sookie from supernatural turmoil. Bill's sudden return to humanity before his dramatic death aimed to rehumanize him after seasons of villainous acts. Though a hastily constructed redemption arc couldn't fully overcome his past abusive actions, it provided appropriate closure. Likewise, having Sookie take Bill's life to ultimately marry a normal human aligned with the show's initial premise, despite convoluted intervening soulmates. Given impossible expectations, the final hour tidily wrapped relationship threads and themes in a logical, full-circle way.